Ricky, baby, you remember when we were young and naive?
I do.
We'd roll out on a scrubber demo with a Magnum scrubber thinking that we were the baddest things rolling.
They were the best.
They were the best. Big steel frame, tip back tank, Trojan batteries, scrub pressure to beat the band, easy clean out.
Then we took this and made it better. We're going to show you some of the differences from our previous existing model. Maybe you're still running this today, and show you how we've made it better and what we've improved on the new model.
So this machine it's cut away to show you some of the internals, but this was the Tomcat Magnum. Now been replaced by the Tomcat Carbon, but this machine had our tip back tank, full access recovery tank, but over time as machines aged and they lived in the real world, we found that the baked on coating on the lid would corrode when it was left where water vapor could condense on it.
The seal would fail, and it's actually hard to replace because of the size of it and all that adhesive.
The tank baffle, if you left your tank full of chemicals and dirt, it would corrode and blister the finish off.
We were the first ones with a catch in the tank we call the drain saver. It was a great idea at the time. We improved on the new one. With the old style, the basket was way too small to handle any sort of garbage. Plus, if you're using a high concentration of soap, this would actually turn into a bubble generator.
And then when you got down past that to the vac motor was actually mounted to the tank of the machine inverted. So if water got in it, one, it would hold water and would cause corrosion in the vac motor, but two, when it got enough, it would blow that water out all over the scrub motors and the batteries.
Next was your squeegee adjustment system. We used to use this gold knob and a spring to keep it in check, which would adjust the pivot plate. Realistically, you only had about 1 to 2 degrees of adjustment. So if there was anything off, just a hair, it was really hard to get that squeegee to ride flat on the floor.
So now that we're a little bit older and a little bit less naive, we're still pretty sure that we roll out in front of a customer with the best scrubber made. Now it's called the Tomcat Carbon. It has about 147 improvements over the old Magnum. Some of them can't be seen. What we want folks to see is the major improvements, and we're using this cutaway to show you some of the most important ones.
Full clear lid, no more corrosion problems, no more problems with gaskets. If the gasket should fail, this is actually a rubber gasket, it pulls right off and can be replaced easily. Still have the easy access and full access to the machine. You do have a larger screen and ball float. You can flow more air, plus less chance of clogging.
The drain saver now, instead of being that little stainless steel basket, is a molded plastic box. So water comes in, there's a mud flap, it's got a huge capacity for soil, and should it be overfilled and neglected, worst comes to worst, instead of cutting off the airflow to my squeegee, debris just spills out into the recovery tank.
We also went with full stainless steel tank internal. This is a baffle that actually serves 2 purposes. Your water and debris are coming in on one side of the tank, which, if you're using a high concentration of soap, will foam up. You'll actually see when you're operating foam on this side and not on this side, which is very important because this is where your vacuum is being pulled out of the tank. You want to try and keep foam far away from that screen and ball float as possible.
Foam's inevitable in our business. The bigger ball will float on heavy foam, but if it doesn't float, we put a filter in here that will break that foam back down into a liquid so it doesn't fly through the vac system into the vac motor. It breaks it down into a liquid, and that liquid will trickle down this hose where it falls out in the Bandel box right there by Rick.
So you can see this is our new vacuum system compared to the old one we just showed you. The vac motor is not mounted invertedly. Plus your hose from your screen and ball float doesn't go directly into the vac motor. We actually breathe through a secondary box. So if water should make it into the system, it's going to come down this hose under high velocity, open up in this box, and actually drop into water. There is a separator wall in between where your air is coming in and where the air is being pulled out by your vacuum motor. Any moisture that does make it in here collects and actually runs towards the drain. You can see everything's actually pitched. So when you do turn the vacuum motor off, if there's any water ingested into the system, it'll actually drain out, saving your vac motor.
We capture it in a box. The box drains itself. On the old machine, it would run into the vac motor, and the vac motor would blow it out all over the scrubber. And as much as we acknowledge that that's a problem with our old design of machine, that is still a current problem for competitors' machines. So this vacuum protection system and this containment of any blow-by water is unique to us. And it's a phenomenal feature. It has greatly reduced our sales of vac motors to our customers.
To adjust the squeegee, we now incorporate a turnbuckle instead of a knob. So you undo the jam nuts, and this allows you can see the amount of movement we have there. So if something should get out of alignment, you can easily get it back into adjustment.
And then lock it in place. So this tool is harder to get out of alignment because once you've set your squeegee pitch, it's got jam nuts that lock it in place versus the old knob, which you were just screwing down, and as a tool went across a rough floor, that knob might come winding back up because the spring was pushing on it. So once the pitch is set on this, it's much more consistent. New style squeegee tool, all stainless hardware, snap band on the back to make easy squeegee blade flips. Big knobs on the front that you can get your fingers on and actually unscrew versus the old stainless wing nuts. And the other is you don't have to pull the through screws out of the tool to make any of the blade changes. And on the old style, you did have to pull the screws through the body. As the tools got older, that got a little cumbersome to do. Caster wheels on the tool for easy height adjustment. The same tool that helps you do the pitch adjust can be used to break loose the jam nuts for the height adjust on the caster wheels. So a much more serviceable, well thought out machine.